First of all, I've never publicly been able to say this, at least if I did, I don't remember, so I want to say it today. All of us thank Houston so much for the outpouring of love after the shuttle disasters. This is an amazing city, and we felt so much support and still do from that. Many families of the crew opted to stay here in Houston after the disaster because this is such a great city, and we chose to stay here and raise our families. When Rick was only 8 years old, I grew up in Texas, but far away from Houston in Amarillo. Rick drove with his parents a very long distance down to Houston because he wanted to see the Space Center when he was only 8, because he wanted to be an astronaut, and this is where you come, because this is Space City. And that was his first exposure to NASA, and he fell in love with it. Yesterday, I did an interview with the New York Times, and it was an interesting conversation because New York is one of the locations that's trying to receive one of the shuttles. And he asked me, he said, this has really become competitive, hasn't it? And I said, well, it doesn't need to be. Logically, it needs to come to Houston. And so he was talking about the millions of people in New York. I told him New York's a great place, but they don't have astronauts. They don't have mission control. This is where the shuttle belongs. This is its home. And so that's why I've become very passionate about becoming involved with this campaign, and hopefully a very favorable announcement we will hear next week. The precious lives of our loved ones were shed on board the space shuttle, and thousands more in Houston have dedicated their lives in training, in mission control, and in human spaceflight. When we were in Washington, D.C. last week, where the decision will be made, Pete Olson made an amazing quote that I would like to share with you. He said, "No community has shed more tears or found more pain than our community when we learned that our heroes were not coming back from Challenger and from Columbia. We will treat the orbiter with reverence and with respect. We will cherish it. No other community understands what this means. That's why the shuttle needs to come home." Thank you so much.